All right, what's going on, you guys? Brian here with another recap video. This time, recapping what went down on tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, coming off the heels of Hard to Kill this past Friday night, and after what has been an emotional week, a very sad and tragic week this week, with the passing of Jay Briscoe. Which turned out who was involved in a tragic car accident that not only took his life, but took the life of the other driver, plus affected where his two daughters suffered very serious injuries. And so it has been a very tragic and sad week this week, to say the very least. But it is Thursday night, and you know what that means. It is another episode of Impact Wrestling. Like I mentioned, before I get into it, I want, I believe, like I said in my NXT recap, my thoughts and prayers are with Jay's family and friends, as well as the family. And I know this will probably sound mean and nasty or rude, but my thoughts and prayers and my condolences go out to the family and friends of the other driver that lost their life as well on Tuesday night. So getting into tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling, coming off the heels, as I mentioned, coming off the heels of Hard to Kill this past Friday night, that saw Mickie James' last rodeo come to an end as she became the new Knockouts World Champion, defeating Jordynne Grace in the main event. An event that also saw Josh Alexander retain the Impact World Championship over Bully Ray in Full Metal Mayhem. We saw Santino Marella named the new Director of Authority for Impact Wrestling, replacing, stepping in for Scott D'Amore, who was taken out last week by Bully Ray. Plus a bunch of other stuff that happened. We saw the return of PCO, as they're going to be looking to continue his feud with Eddie Edwards. Plus a whole bunch more that happened this past Friday night at Hard to Kill. We started off tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling with the new Knockouts World Champion, Mickie James. She would be interrupted by Bully Ray. Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans would also come out to confront Mickie. They would attack Mickie. Then Kazarian and Jordynne Grace would come out to make the save. Then Santino would come out. We would also see Ernest the Cat Miller come out as well. And this would lead to Santino making the decision to have the opening match be a 6-person tag team match. Bully Ray, Savannah Evans, and Tasha Steelz taking on Kazarian, Jordynne Grace, and the new Knockouts World Champion, Mickie James, which was the opening match. And it was the team of Mickie James, Jordynne Grace, and Kazarian picking up the win in the opening match of tonight's episode of Impact Wrestling. We also, afterwards, we would have a backstage segment where Dirty Dango would be talking to the Director of Authority, Santino, and Santino would announce that next week there would be a 6-shooter elimination match involving Moose, Sami Callihan, Eddie Edwards, Rich Swann, Rhino, and Chris Sabin. The winner will go on to challenge Josh Alexander for the Impact World Championship. And when Rich Swann's name was mentioned, that did not sit well with Steve Maclin, who defeated Rich Swann at Hard to Kill on this past Friday. He basically was like, why is Rich Swann in that match when I beat him at Hard to Kill? And Santino was like, it's obvious that you want a match tonight, so I'm going to give you a match. And you know what? I'm going to have you face Dirty Dango. So that was a match set up for tonight. We saw the Virtuosa and former Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo. She was in action. She defeated Ashley Dubois. I believe it was, or Dubois, to win, to pick up a victory. In what was not even an interview, but was basically PCO screaming, Eddie! Eddie! Of course, PCO made his return at Hard to Kill this past Friday and went after Eddie Edwards. So obviously they're continuing. They're gonna that feud's gonna be continuing. Trey Miguel was in the X Division champion. He was involved in a backstage segment with Ashley Dubois and telling, like, just basically just being a jerk to her, telling, "Oh, you deliver that high kick really good, and but I know know a little something about doing that, and I could show teach you some things as far as wrestling is concerned." And then here comes, I believe, 70-something-year-old Mike Jackson to basically say that Trey Miguel, you're being disrespectful, and I'm going to teach you some respect. And he challenged Trey Miguel for the X Division Championship for next week. So that is another big match signed for next week. We saw Killer Kelly defeat Taylor Wilde in Knockouts Division action. Say what you want about Impact Wrestling and their Knockouts Division, but I feel like their Knockouts Division is pretty stacked. I mean, I think they have a really well-rounded roster as far as the Knockouts Division is concerned. So you have a lot of different styles, a lot of different athletes as far as the knockouts are concerned. So a lot of them, the entire knockouts division roster, really brings something different. Each one of them brings something different as far as style and their style of wrestling and that. But Killer Kelly, she defeated Taylor Wilde. We saw a backstage segment involving The Design and Sami Callihan, who is being made to go through steps in order to join The Design. We saw a backstage segment with Josh Alexander, the Impact World Champion, talking with Santino. Then, after Josh left, Santino would be confronted by Giselle Shaw, who basically was like, I want a shot at the Knockouts World Tag Team titles, and that they feel that she feels that she deserves another shot at those at the Knockouts tag titles. And Santino told her that, okay, fine, but I'm gonna have to find you a tag partner, and pretty much I don't know who it's gonna be because nobody here likes you. So next week, Giselle Shaw and whoever Santino handpicks for her to be her tag team partner will challenge the Death Dolls for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. The Death Dolls consists of Jessica, Taya Valkyrie, and Rosemary, which I believe is I believe it's Jessica and Taya Valkyrie who are the tag team champions, but they could do like a Freebird rule where two of the three could defend the belts. But in other action, Steve Maclin defeated Dirty Dango. We heard from the major players, Brian Myers and Matt Cardona, talking about their loss at Hard to Kill in that fatal four-way elimination tag team match that was for the Impact Tag Team Championships that involved the eventual winners of that match, the Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns, who remained champions, Chris Bay and Ace Austin, who were who were cheated by Cardona and Myers after Cardona and Myers got eliminated, as well as Heath and Rhino. And their interview segment would be interrupted by Moose, who was not very happy that he lost the Digital Media Championship match against Joe Hendry. And Cardona basically saw what Moose was doing, and he said that, we know what you're trying to do. You want us to do your dirty work and take out Joe Hendry, but I'm coming after Joe Hendry, and I'm getting back my Digital Media Championship. So that was pretty much it for that. We had an interview segment with Dave LaGreca of Busted Open Radio, interviewing Tommy Dreamer, who hosts the show along with Dave LaGreca and Bully Ray, talking about what has been transpiring between Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray. And Dreamer made it very clear that him and Bully Ray are going to war. And that was pretty much it for that. And then in the main event, it was the first ever pit fight match. Not fight pit match, but the pit fight match in Impact Wrestling, as Speedball Mike Bailey took on Kenny King. In order to win this one, you'd have to win by either submission or knockout. And it was Speedball Mike Bailey picking up the win over Kenny King, hopefully ending this rivalry between Bailey and King. And he won via knockout when he put a chair over King's head and kicked it. And the referee was like, "Okay, ring the bell, he's out, he's knocked out." So Speedball Mike Bailey with a big victory, putting an end to his feud, hopefully, with Kenny King. So that was pretty much it for Impact Wrestling. My overall thought on the episode, a pretty good episode. I'm not going to say anything bad. I feel like Impact Wrestling has been doing a great job. I mean, they have ups and downs as far as, certain episodes will be good. Certain episodes of Impact or pay-per-views or big events that they hold are going to be better than other ones. But I feel like they're doing a really great job with the talent that they have and the shows that they have put on. So this week's episode I thought was good. And let's see where they go after, going forward. So with that in mind, this has been my Impact Wrestling recap. Sorry if this video is a little long, but this has been my Impact Wrestling recap. As always, I am Brian, and I will see you next time. See ya.